Okay, I want to start off from the top. Okay, somebody close to me gave me the idea of going into mental hospitals for like housing or whatever, or trying to, get shelter really fast when I was homeless. So I began going into mental hospitals in Los Angeles. And at first I was totally against it, but honestly, I began to go into mental hospitals really not voluntarily, not really voluntarily, but not voluntarily. I made a video about that, my time traveling video. I know that sounds crazy, like in that video. I'm gonna link it too, just in case you want to watch it. But I know that sounds like crazy, but it really did happen. I am one of the chosen people, if you want to call me that. I'm a targeted individual, and a lot of us have mental illnesses and stuff. So I kind of voluntarily went into a mental hospital for the first time, but it was also involuntary too. But I have been seeing a lot of supernatural things in those hospitals that were like pure evil. It would scare the toughest person, the bravest person, the most courageous person. It would scare you. Okay, so usually I'm just gonna talk about this. Usually, they have a whole bunch of people in there, and almost can't win for losing in there. It was unless actually me, I know I can't win for losing in those mental hospitals, because if I don't talk to the patients, it's a problem. If I do speak to them, well, when I used to, because I haven't been in one in almost a year, but when I used to, before I woke up to realize that it was nothing helpful about the situation, it was actually hindering me. But when I was going there, when I look back, I realized that it really was like, I couldn't win for losing when I would go to those hospitals, when with the patients or the staff. So the patients, if you just stayed to yourself, they would get mad about that. If you spoke to them, they'll try to play with you, use psychological tactics on you, and try to fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it could go either way. With me, from my experience, it was just not an advantage in any situation. So that alone has made me not ever want to go into a mental hospital ever again. And then the actual staff, they're very cold. Um, they're not people at all. They're not people persons at all. Like, they're mean, flat out mean. Like, the first day or two, they might kind of give you a little impression that they're gonna care, and then, well, in my experience, they give you an impression when you first get in there. Like, the first day and a half, they're actually trying to be nice to you then, or acting like they're nice rather. So when you get good in there, the second day on, they're very cold. They're very like detached. You better not cry to them, because they ain't gonna care. Well, at least in my situation, they don't. It doesn't matter, the nurses or whatever, they really are not nice. And like I said in another video, the most nice the nice ones, if you want to call them that, are actually the doctor, which that makes sense. But you know, at the same time, it's only because they don't spend that long with you, and they can be detached emotionally too. And basically, they don't give a fuck about if you have a job. So don't go in there. If you need to keep your job, especially in this economy, if you need a job, do not admit yourself into a psych hospital, because they might tell you, well, you can leave whenever you want to, blah 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 blah, because you admit yourself. You get in there, then they'll be giving you the runaround. Well, we got to see one more day. Then a day leads to 3 days. 3 days leads to a week. A week leads to, let me see, about 10 days. Then next thing you know, you've been there for 2 weeks and you didn't lost your job. Okay. So they're not gonna care. They'll say, "Well, we could do well. We'll do something." They'll try to act like that they're gonna help you keep your job. They won't. I've seen a couple of people, not a lot, but a couple of people who they pretty much didn't have their job anymore. Like they didn't know or they didn't know if they were going to be able to keep their job because those mental health professionals were doing whatever they could to keep them in there and for the insurance money. And it's like normally they will keep you, if you have insurance, good insurance, they will keep you in there for like 2 weeks. Usually I don't think they do it as much as they used to because so many people have probably complained, but they will hold you there. You could tell them every single day, "Oh, I'm fine, I would like to go home today, and I feel completely fine." Like you could be smiling and just not in a I don't know, not a crazy smile or anything, but just kind of normal. And they will, they're not gonna listen to you. They're gonna be like, "Okay, well," and then you'll ask them, "Well, can I go home today?" And then they'll be like, "I'll think about it tomorrow. I'll check back with you tomorrow." So that whole rest of the day, you probably are like disappointed because you probably wanted to go home. You thought maybe you would be able to go home. Or if they told you that you could go home on your own free will since you admitted yourself into the hospital and then you asked to go home, they will still do that to you even though they told you that you could go home anytime you want to because you admitted yourself. They'll still keep you there longer. And all those times, I don't know why I couldn't learn and grasp it until last year that those people ain't about shit. They're in for the money. And you know what? A lot of times I don't even think that they're real people. They are like demonic. I done seen some demonic stuff in there that most people would not believe. Okay? Like I've seen some really demonic evil energy, witchy, demonic, devilish, like energy and situations. I've seen people who did not look human in there. Well, I think those were actually might be angels, but I've seen people who just like it just seems like the devil was within them. They spoke like a devil. I've seen some very supernatural things in those places and heard things that I never want to hear again. And basically, I'm scared to go in them anymore. Okay? I am very terrified of mental hospitals now because I've had them beat up on me. I've had them team up on me, gang up on me, harm me. And I didn't even touch them. I had never even touched them. But because I was standing up for myself, it gave them an excuse to attack me. Really, it actually gave them an excuse to attack me. Because I remember I had just simply told this woman the correct way of saying my name, and they I guess she got mad and she got with another worker and decided to team up against me to set me up with other people because they were just mad, okay, and wanted to pick on somebody. They do that to a lot of people there too. I'm not the only one, but I have been on like. Anyway, she took the woman that got mad because I corrected her about my own name. When they finally set me up to try to like lock me down on a bed and stuff, like she actually started saying, "I've been waiting to do this all day to her. I've been waiting to do this all day to her." And trust me, I never touched that woman, not once. And I didn't even touch any of them first. This dude literally pounded me against the wall, and he basically like did me like a police officer would do to somebody. Okay? Somebody that's not even, being aggressive at all. Yeah, I did cuss at him first. I'm not going to lie. But he just got violent. He slammed me against the wall, and I was telling him, get off of me, get off of me. I'm not fighting back at you. I'm not fighting you. I am not harming you. I haven't touched you. You pounded me against the wall without me even getting violent with you at all. And a lot of them came in. They got me into that room, you know, where you get strapped down and you get your shot or whatever. And they pounded me down, and she came in there, the woman that got mad about me correcting her about my name. She got mad. She came in there and said, "Oh, I've been waiting to do this to her all day." Because of that, that was her excuse. And then she jumped in and put her hands on me too. And once again, this was not even from me attacking either one of them. I had not touched any of those people physically. Now, I'm the one that will take up for myself, stand up for myself. I will say something to somebody, but I try not to be violent. I really do. Like, I don't believe in violence anymore. Like, I really have tried not to be violent with people. Even then, I still didn't fight them back. I still didn't fight those people back. Because, you know, another reason why I didn't do it, because they will try to say that even if you fight them back, even if they hit you or harm you, if you fight them back in one of those mental hospitals, the patient fights a worker back, do you know that it's very likely for them to be able to get you, you know, into legal trouble, even though you physically defended yourself? That's one reason why I did not fight them back, because I knew that. And I actually tried to get a lawyer, but, you know, they didn't want to get involved. And I kind of left it alone. But you know what? I'm still angry about it. But, you know, I'm kind of used to that, too, from the mental health field. Like, I know I need medication. I know I'm crazy. I know X, Y, and Z. And I know that I'm not always, you know, cooperative all the time. But I try to at least, like, think and try to be emotionally intelligent, even if I am depressed or X, Y, and Z, you know, and I am a paranoid schizophrenic, and I do have several other mental disorders, but I try to keep myself in check. I take my medication routinely, and I've been doing that consistently since I was like maybe 29, 30 years old, 29 to 31 years old. I've been taking my medication religiously. I never skip my medication. You know, there were times when I wasn't taking it the way that I was supposed to, at the times that I was supposed to, but in the last, you know, couple of years, I have been taking it like I have, well, not in the last couple of years, but in the last year, I have been taking it exactly how it has been prescribed for me to take it. And it has been helping me out a lot. Like, I know there are good mental health professionals, like my current doctor. She's pretty good. You know, she's a nice lady, and, you know, she has helped me a lot when it comes down to, you know, getting healthy, more healthy. I'm not going to say I'm completely healthy, and I'm not going to even say that I'm mostly healthy, but I have a certain level of awareness now that, you know, I didn't necessarily have, years ago, but I still would follow the rules, and I would still like try to cooperate and keep a moral, you know, code of conduct and do the right thing, even if I was very stressed out, depressed, and hallucinate, different things like that. I still try to keep myself under control. Now, I have had slip-ups, legal problems, but like I said, I'm totally against, you know, like violence. Like, now, I've made my mistakes. Yeah, of course I've gotten into fights and stuff, but I really don't think that that's a good thing. I try not to watch violence, X, Y, and Z. But anyway, back to this though. Like, even like when I used to be a client at this other place where I had my apartment through them too. I had an apartment through this particular clinic, you know, and it was totally dysfunctional. They were rude. Usually mental health professionals, you might get, like my doctor, she's pretty decent, you know, but other mental health professionals, they're not very nice. They usually aren't. They don't care. They only care about the money, and they don't give a fuck about your feelings, really. And, you know, a lot of them are actually prejudiced, too. I'm not going to even lie to you. I'm not going to even lie. But then you also have black ones that are also prejudiced towards black people. And you even have black women who are prejudiced towards black women and black people, too. Like, you just have all types of people, all races. In the mental health field, they all stick together too. They stick together, especially against the patient. They act like, Patients' rights, oh yeah, that's a bunch of bullshit too. You can call them all you want, and they ain't gonna really care. They ain't gonna do too much. Nope. You'll be lucky if they do anything at all. Like, they broke my finger one time. They cut my fingernails off before they broke my finger, actually. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that I've been through, but that's what it is. And I'm not saying that I'm completely right, because maybe I might have did some things that probably bought on certain scenarios, but for the most part, I try to keep myself in check. I really try not to like do foolish things, or try not to snap, or like do that. Like, I just really try to center myself most of the time. That's why I chant, I meditate. I try to keep myself calm along with the prayer first, and then medication, and therapy and healing on my own, things that will help me stay in an upbeat spirit, doing things to to ignore the voices in my head, and the auditory hallucinations and different things. I've been using a lot of coping skills to deal with these different things that are attached to my mental illness. What else? Well, I want to say, yeah, I do want to go back to my original, topic of this video, even though I've been sticking to a lot of it, but, yeah, try not to go into a mental hospital, y'all. Try not to. They're really not sympathetic. You'll be bored. Like, they usually only have one TV, two if you're lucky. And trust me, if they got two, it's a whole bunch of other patients there too. And you won't be able to hear the TV. It's going to be very boring. And you probably won't get anything out of it. You could get stabilized on your medication, but you could also get stabilized outside of the hospital. So do whatever you can to try to cope outside of the hospital, because there's really no difference. As far as the help that you get, and then you'll be out the hospital. You'll be out the hospital, and now, if you absolutely don't have a place to go, now I suggest that. But then again, a lot of people don't even want to stay there after a little while, even if they don't have a place to go. I know I didn't when I was homeless. That was a terrible place to end up at, just because you're homeless. After probably the first 2 days, when you get well rested, or the third day, you're going to start getting very bored, because there are certain people that it seems like they would always put it on a show that was boring, and only one person would be able to control the remote, and then you just sitting there just doing nothing almost. And, it's a very depressing, boring situation. I remember I turned 30 years old in the mental hospital, after I had a nervous breakdown, and but anyway, y'all, that was my video. And if you like my experience, or if you can understand, and you want to hear more, comment below, like my video, hit the notification bell, share it, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in another video, my lotus flowers. Peace. I'm out. Bye bye.